everyone. Today I'm going to talk about 4 important ideas in chapter 5 and 6. So in chapter 5, I think how we listen is the most important because it clarifies what listening is. The textbook says in 5.2 that listening involves 5 activities: selecting, attending, understanding, remembering, and responding. I think we should know this because it shows where we are when we cannot follow the conversations and how we get back on track. We usually use hearing and listening for replacement, but turns out they are totally different. Hearing is just let the sounds enter into your ears, while listening is a more complex process. It is a whole series of actions. First, choose what you want to hear, then remain sustained concentration on the selected sound. Third is to relate information from what we hear to our experience and knowledge to understand and try to remember it. We tend to remember what is important to us, or we have already know or tried to remember. Last step is responding, which show how much we understand the message. So the second important idea of this chapter is the barriers that prevent us from listening well, which is self barriers, information processing barriers, and context barriers. I believe these barriers are so important that they influence the interpretation of the sending messages. These are they are equally critical, but I think the self barrier stands out, as we usually think about something that is not really related to the message. The listening effectiveness will plummet. We might not notice that because of thoughts just surrounding our minds, emotional noises, and criticism usually occurred when we engage in a conversation. So that is why self barrier becomes the most difficult to improve. For example, when I was in my music class for 2 weeks ago, I didn't understand what the instructor was trying to explain. I heard him, but I didn't get it. So I do not remember anything about the lesson of that day. I remember that I had some blank moments, we are blank moments that we cannot think of anything or receive information. And I was so hungry because I didn't have breakfast. So the lesson of that day, I didn't understand anything. So this is how self barriers does affect us. So in chapter 6, among the differences mentioned in chapter 6.1, which is genders, sexual orientation, age, and ethnicity, I think the sexual orientation is the most concerned problem, since nowadays there are more people publicize that they are non-homosexual orientation. The author give evidence that 92% of LGBTQ, after admitting about their sexual orientation, the society is more accepting them. Meanwhile, more heterosexuals usually reject or feel fear of these people, so that some gay or lesbian decide they not to public. The book also suggests us to be aware when having conversation, such as like no telling jokes or story about the sexual orientation or using homophobic or heterosexist language. In addition, we should create an environment that gay or lesbian can be who they are and do not afraid of hearing profanity or discrimination. I have a friend who is gay, and he has admitted with the class that he's gay. For some reason, a day later, the whole school know that he's gay. His work kind of shocked, and since then, some boys usually consider him as a joke. They said that, "Hey, do you like boy? It is disgusting. Stay away from us." I think they afraid that because my friend is not non-homosexual orientation, and I think this was too much for him, but he did overcome the problem eventually. So after that, our class tried to make him feel comfortable and not ashamed with his sexual orientation. So another important idea in chapter 6 is the four barriers restraint from communication between individuals in chapter 6.3, which are assuming superiority, similarity, differences, stereotype, and prejudice. The text mentions the barriers will increase the differences between people, and differences can breed misunderstanding, which is the origin of distrust and suspicion. Among these barriers, I think I mentioned, I think assuming the similarity is what we usually do when having intercultural communication with others. Okay, so when I first came here, I met a girl from Taiwan. I was really fun, and I was fun and asked her whether she likes poverty or not, because Taiwan is where bubble tea stems from, and Taiwanese consume bubble teas in a huge amount every single day. She said that she likes it. It is her favorite drink. I said I love it too. And then the conversation is kind of trying to find the similarities between her and me in specific, or the Taiwanese and Vietnamese culture in general. I think it was fun, but turned out it shortens the communication. It is a mistake that I was assumed too much similarities about my friend.